Bold predictions, chapter 19 upon us tonight. And we got a 9.5 to lead it off. We've only had one documented 10 on the bold prediction boldness scale so far. We're going to push it tonight here. This is a 9.5. We lead it off with Trent from Nashville, Tennessee. He said, first-year starters Kyle McCord at Ohio State and Carson Beck at Georgia will be Heisman finalists. He's not done. Heisman finalists and first-round draft picks. That's a 9.5. Some of you would argue that's low. You may be right. That's at least a 9.5. There is one combined start in their college careers. We're calling multiple first-rounders and Heisman finalists here. Now, Georgia had the number 5 offense in the country last year. I know that shocked some people to remember. They did. So Carson Beck is starting now for a team that showed the ability to produce at a high level offensively. Likewise, Kyle McCord, if that's the starter there, and we believe he will be, he's starting for the team in Columbus, Ohio, that had the number 2 offense in the country last year. And by the way, both of those quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud, Stetson Bennett, were Heisman finalists. Now, Bennett didn't go in the first round of the draft. Lesson learned, go to the Senior Bowl, kids. C.J. Stroud was. So this almost happened last year for those two guys. But the net result of this prediction is I'm supposed to think that Carson Beck and Kyle McCord are going to accomplish what Bennett, national championship winning Stetson Bennett, and C.J. Stroud didn't? I don't think so. First round, both of them, along with Heisman finalists, and they both have years of eligibility left beyond this if they want to come back. So that may be a moot point there on the back end. This is a 9.5. The good news, for those of you who want to make this prediction, is if you do believe in things such as Heisman odds, they're tied for 12th. So at least they're up there. I don't know that we have odds for where they go in the draft quite yet, but Kyle McCord and Carson Beck are right there, neck and neck, tied for 12th in the Heisman odds. So there's that. If you want hope, there's that. Next up, this is pretty close, actually. OSU Soldier Boy, with an R, from Stillwater, Oklahoma, said Oklahoma State will win 10 games in the regular season, and one of its 2 losses will be to the conference champ. Obviously, this goes against my greater advice to you, and that is don't make predictions so specific. Yes, it's impressive when it hits. That's like 1 out of a million. In the meantime, I'm going to make this a 9.25 on the boldness scale. So Oklahoma State wins 10 games. Well, that would mean they have to finish a solid 4 games higher than their over-under win total of 6. Whatever, we've seen that happen before. I'm just letting you know what the expectation market says. Now, it's bold enough to say 10-2. That's bold enough. But predicting that one of their 2 losses is going to be to the eventual Big 12 champion is even more bold when you consider they don't play the favorite in Texas. They just don't face them. They don't play TCU. They don't play Baylor. They don't play Texas Tech. So it feels to me like what we're saying is we got to have Mike Gundy go 10-2, and one of his 2 losses needs to be to like Oklahoma or Kansas State. Otherwise, they play 4 of the bottom 6 odds teams in the Big 12. They got a really workable schedule, as workable as it can be. 9.25 on the boldness scale for me. Oh, and by the way, trivia time. Who's the starting quarterback for Oklahoma State this year? Jeopardy music. Jeopardy music. Dun, 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 boom. It's Alan Bowman. And he started games in 2018. Totally insane stat. He has 11 passes the last 2 seasons. So, is that guy going to win 10 games for you? We'll see. Next up, we go to the ACC. We kind of go multiple places here. Tom from Concord, North Carolina. NC State has the best record of any Power 5 team in the Carolinas. I think Tom, or someone from that neck of the woods, posed a similar what-if/bold prediction last year. So let's remind you, and you can do your own little trivia game in your head on this too, who are the Power 5s in the Carolinas? Well, you got Clemson. And I'm just going to give you the over-under win totals while I'm at it. Clemson over-under 10. North Carolina 8.5. NC State is 3rd. They're 7. South Carolina 6.5. Duke 6. Wake Forest 6. And I'm supposed to believe the Wolfpack there, they're going to have a better record than anyone. Well, I call this an 8.75 on the boldness scale, only because I probably need a mixture of 2 things to happen. I probably need NC State to overachieve, and I probably need Clemson to underachieve. Because Clemson, at their worst, has been a 10-win team. So I need them down at like 9-3, 8-4, and I need NC State 9-3, 10-2. I probably need that. They do. NC State does play 4 of the 5 teams that are listed there. They play Clemson. They play North Carolina. They play, let me make sure, South Carolina. No, they don't. They play Duke. Yes, they do. So they got a lot of those teams that I listed. So we'll have a lot of head-to-head. Also, they play Notre Dame. They're 43rd in S&P Plus, and they're 103rd in returning production. So if you got confidence in NC State, that's wonderful. A certain percentage of it is blind confidence, which pans out all the time in college football. This is a sport where 25 to 30% of your roster overturns every year. 8 or more wins in 5 of their last 6 seasons is probably the money stat. If you're putting your eggs in this basket, yes, they have shown they can win, but I'm still making it an 8.5 because they got to win and probably have someone else or multiple someone's losing. Lastly, Macomb. I'm guessing, Jesse, Macomb is my best guess on the pronunciation, from Michigan. No. Macomb is the city. Yeah, so that's not the guy's name. Mr. Augusta is the guy's name, ironically from Michigan. Anyway, he says Illinois will win 9 or more games as Brett Bielema continues to turn the program around. This is an 8.75. It's not wild, but it's pretty bold. Their win total is at 6. They had the best year last year they've had since 2007. Kind of anonymously, because they weren't in the East, so you didn't really find them to be appointment viewing. But if this happens, it happens because Luke Altmaier at quarterback really pans out for them. They return 3 of their top 4 wide receivers. He'll have targets to throw to. Luke Altmaier was at Ole Miss. You remember him there. He's their starting quarterback now. Now, here's why this could happen. They got Toledo, Kansas, FAU. Their out-of-conference schedule is not unworkable. They avoid Michigan. They avoid Ohio State. They got Penn State at home early in the season, and they play 4 of the bottom 6 odds teams in the Big Ten. And they looked really good last year. So, you know what? Hold on a second. 8.75. I'm going to make this an 8.5. No, you know what? Tom Fornelli may be watching. I'm making this an 8.25 on the boldness scale. Illinois could absolutely win 9 games or more. Or can you imagine a world? Are your children prepared for a world where Illinois wins double-digit games? Mine aren't. That's why I haven't had them yet, of course. Good for me for being responsible. Toledo, Kansas, FAU on that out-of-conference. That could be what determines that. Let's see. Also, I would like to know in the comments, what is your opinion of Illinois' mid-season artwork? Or not mid-season, midfield artwork. They got the Illinois eye, and they have the state of Illinois outline. I have always found, being the geography nerd that I am, I've always found that people really struggle to draw state outlines off of memory. And I'm one of the weirdos that can do it. Illinois is one of the most random states for people who've never been to Chicago. It's one of the people know Chicago, they don't even know Illinois. Half the folks in Illinois would say that, actually. So draw the outline of the state of Illinois. You can't do it, can you? Half of you in Illinois can't do that. It's a very weirdly shaped state. Well, they took advantage of that at midfield, and they've got the outline drawn. I'm just curious what you guys think about it. It's worth a Google.